in the role of the center and continuator of nature. The man is not. He has a very short and unimportant, finally, relationship to this whole problem. He has another set of concerns. Here go Jane Goodall's males out to work. Now, she tells that they control an area of some 30 miles circumference, and they know where the bananas are. And when the bananas are failing in this area, they know where to go for more. They also are defenders. They defend against invasions by other little tribes and so forth. And just in the primary way, the function of the male in this society is to prepare and maintain a field within which the female can bring forth the future. And these are two quite different roles, and the bodies are made for them as well. Now, the male is not engaged like the woman in a constant charge of children and so forth. He has a lot of free time. He knows where the bananas are. It isn't time to go there now. And nobody's bothering us, so what do? This is it. In men's clubs, delousing each other. And here we have from Australia a comparable community. Now, this whole thing, which very sadly, I would say today, is being invaded and destroyed, the idea of the men's club where no women are allowed is a very important social institution. One of the saddest indications today of what's happening is in New York City, in the Princeton Club, a little panel on the floor, entry into the bar, that says, "Here we get away from the women." And you go in there today, and all these women alumni of Princeton are in the bar. So this is a long-standing institution. The men's hunting team, together, whatever. Now here they are defending the community. It was something to hear this beautiful woman, Jane Goodall, go across the stage bellowing and howling to let us know what this sounded like, and she could imitate it to perfection. Now, this is the male job, and here we are in New Guinea. These are hill tribes people. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is a ceremonial battle, and serious. In this area, in Highland, New Guinea, there's plenty of food. There's no need for one tribe to invade another to get their property. What are the men going to do? They're sitting around, nothing to do, so they invent a war. This is a war game, and the spears are serious. So when one is killed, the battle ends, and then we have a period of waiting for another surprise attack. So this gives the men something to do all the time. They're on the guard against the other one launching the return attack. They're preparing for it and so forth. And the male has to have something serious to do, that's all. Now here we go back to the animal world again. There are a couple of stallions fighting over a mare. There she stands, and she doesn't care who wins. Somebody's going to take her on. Now, the male body is built for this sort of thing, and it's a fact. In the human body, every muscle has an impulse to action. And one is not fully alive unless one is in action. And so we have the invention always in societies of games of strength, games of cleverness, games of winning. And here we are in Greece. Now, in the male community, what is important is the ranking, the pecking order, what Jane Goodall called alpha male. Who is alpha male? Who's top male? This, which we see here, is a charging display. This fellow's coming down the line, pulling down branches and so forth, and anyone who wants to claim top male position has to challenge him in this action. Here's a guy coming to take him on. And the winner is top male. She describes one little fellow who was anything but a top male, who found that by kicking oil cans around, he could make quite an impression. And for a couple of days until everyone else caught on, he was top male. Now, she describes a very interesting episode which strikes me, and I bring it forward simply as a little suggestion. She was seated on a hill slope, observing through glasses a number of her chimpanzee friends over on the opposite slope of the valley. There were half a dozen males and females to the same number, about, and a few of the little ones. And it was pouring rain. We're in the tropics, pouring rain, and a rumbling of thunder. And then suddenly there was a prodigious thunderclap, and the males went bananas. They started charging displays one after another, just down the line. Big boy up there. Now, when I heard that, I recalled that Giambattista Vico, the 17th century philosopher, had suggested that the first notion of the Godhead arose out of experiencing the voice of the thunder. The voice in the thunder is the first suggestion of a power greater than that of the human system. Now, the male chimpanzee is almost twice as heavy as the female. There's no question about physical supremacy here. And this goes largely for the male-female in the human sphere as well. And this is Theseus abducting Antiope, the queen of the Amazons. This power of the male and the female submission to it, the female is physically vulnerable. Also, she is booty. And one of the problems of the male is to protect the females of the community from abduction. And so this is a long-standing situation, and the breeding of the race favors these two opposed physical organizations. And so the myths have to deal with this. And the male body and the female body have their symbolic values throughout the system. Now, as for biological spontaneity, here is the mother. This is her older daughter. And here's our little friend, Merlin. I think this is Merlin. The young female chimp takes her younger brother or sister as a doll and is imitating mother and playing with the child, and the mother has to be careful that nothing happens because it's a bit of clumsy operation. The males don't do this. The young male starts pushing young females around. Then he starts pushing older females around. And then when he gets to be really big and strong, he enters the men's group and finds his place in the pecking series. Two entirely different spontaneities, two very different natures.